Do you ever feel the urge to explain yourself and then suddenly feel tired before you even begin? Like something inside you says they won't understand anyway. So you stay quiet, you step back, you disappear a little, not in a dramatic way, just enough that no one notices right away. And somehow, that silence feels more honest than anything you could say out loud. You don't do it to punish anyone. You don't do it to make a point. It's more subtle than that. It's like your energy quietly pulls away from a place where it no longer feels safe to stay. And if someone asked you why, you might struggle to answer. Not because you don't have reasons, but because your reasons don't feel like something you're allowed to say. So instead, you just walk away without explaining, without defending, without asking to be understood. And maybe this isn't new for you. Maybe you've been doing this for a long time, sitting in conversations where you feel slightly out of place, even if nothing is technically wrong. Smiling at the right moments, nodding when expected. But inside, there's this quiet distance, like you're present, but not fully there. Like you've learned how to exist around people without actually being seen by them. You might not even remember when that started, just that at some point, it became easier to observe than to express, easier to listen than to speak, easier to shrink than to risk being misunderstood. So now, when something feels off, your first instinct isn't to confront it, it's to retreat, to create space, to go silent in a way that feels almost automatic. And the strange part is that silence can feel powerful, not loud power, not the kind that demands attention, but a quiet, steady kind. The kind that says, I don't need to explain myself to be valid, even if a part of you still wonders if that's true. Because underneath that silence, there's often a history of moments where explaining didn't go the way you hoped. Maybe you tried to express something once, and it was dismissed, or misunderstood, or turned into something else entirely. So over time, your system adapted. It learned that speaking up doesn't always lead to being heard. Sometimes it just leads to feeling more alone, and that's a feeling you've learned to avoid. So now, instead of explaining, you leave. Not always physically, sometimes emotionally. You stop investing, you stop trying to be fully known, and from the outside, it can look like calm detachment, like you're unbothered, like you've mastered the art of letting go. But inside, it's not that simple. Because walking away without explaining isn't always about confidence. Sometimes it's about protection. It's your nervous system choosing quiet over conflict, distance over discomfort. It's the part of you that learned, a long time ago, that being fully seen didn't always feel safe. Imagine someone who notices everything, the tone of a voice, the shift in energy, the moment a conversation feels slightly off. Imagine how exhausting that can be, to constantly read between the lines, to feel things that aren't being said out loud, and then to carry those feelings alone, because explaining them feels too complicated, too heavy, too likely to be misunderstood. So instead, that person starts to withdraw. Not all at once, just in small, almost invisible ways. They reply a little less, share a little less, show up a little differently, until one day they realize they've already left, even if their body is still there. And maybe that person is you. Maybe you've gotten so used to this pattern that it feels normal now. The quiet exits, the unspoken boundaries, the way you slowly detach instead of confronting what hurts. And maybe part of you takes pride in that. It feels controlled, composed, like you're above unnecessary drama. But another part of you might feel something else, something harder to name, a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from not being known, from leaving before anyone has the chance to really see you, from protecting yourself so well that even genuine connection starts to feel out of reach. And then the questions start to surface, even if you don't say them out loud. Is this strength, or is it distance? Is this self-respect, or self-protection? Am I choosing peace, or just avoiding the risk of being misunderstood again? Because walking away without explaining can feel like power. And sometimes it is. Sometimes it's the most honest thing you can do. But sometimes it's also a reflection of how deeply you've learned to keep things inside, how much you've adapted to being the one who understands others without expecting the same in return. And that kind of awareness changes you. It makes you more observant, more careful, more selective with your energy. But it can also make you quieter than you want to be, more distant than you intend, more alone than you let yourself admit. So you keep moving through your life like this, present but guarded, open but only to a certain point, always aware of when something feels off, and always ready to step back before it gets too close. Not because you don't care, but because you care in a way that feels hard to hold. And maybe no one ever taught you how to stay, not just physically, but emotionally, how to sit in discomfort and still feel safe, how to express something messy and not lose your sense of control. So instead, you mastered something else. You mastered leaving quietly, with dignity, with composure, with a kind of silence that says everything, even if no one hears it. And now, here you are, still carrying that pattern, still navigating the space between wanting to be understood and not wanting to explain yourself. Still balancing that quiet power with the quiet cost that comes with it. And maybe the real question isn't whether walking away without explaining is right or wrong. Maybe it's something softer than that, something more personal. What are you protecting when you choose silence? And what might happen if, just once, you didn't?